What we do be worthy of you. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, thank you, sir.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Reading we use of the roll call, so please.
Ms. Purcell?
Present.
Ms. Williams? Present. Mr. McIntyre?
Present.
Mr. Brown?
Present.
Ms. Key?
Present.
Mr. Bowen?
Present.
Mr. Thompson?
Present.
Mr. Golden? Ms. Dunn? Mr. Boswell?
Here.
Mr. Lewis?
Here.
Mr. Morris?
Here.
Ms. Lemon?
Here.
Mr. Gravely?
Here. Thank you.
Need a motion for the April board meeting.
So moved.
Second.
You have a motion and a second, any discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Thank you. Next, we have Albert Shelby, who will direct the program delivery. We will ask for what he would.
Good morning, Chairman,
Good morning.
Deputy Commissioner, members of the board. Today, I'm going to present the projects the department is proposing to advertise for the June 2023 letting. Before we present June, here are the FY 2023 results. We have led a total of 245 projects in fiscal year 2023. This chart shows the number of projects by improvement type. The value of these 245 projects is approximately $1.658 billion through the April 2023 bid awards, with 240 GDOT-led projects worth approximately $1.596 billion and 5 local-led projects worth $61.6 million. This chart shows the dollar amount distribution by improvement type, with maintenance, bridge, and road projects making up the bulk of these improvement types. Here are the results of the April 2023 letting. Of the 22 GDOT-let contracts presented to the board, 21 were awarded and 1 was rejected. Now I'm going to discuss the projects in the June 2023 letting. We have a total of 33 projects, 28 are GDOT-let and 5 are local-let. The next 3 slides list these 33 projects arranged by congressional district. As you can see with this slide, we are letting a variety of projects throughout the state to address bridge, capacity, enhancement, maintenance, and safety issues. In this letting, we have 16 of our projects that are safety focused. We propose to let a variety of safety projects, including roundabouts, intersection improvements, guardrail upgrades, pedestrian crossings, and signing and marking projects. These projects are great examples of our continued commitment to providing a safe traveling experience for motorists and pedestrians. The first highlighted project will replace the structurally deficient bridges on I-16 eastbound and westbound over the Omogeechee River overflow. The existing bridges were constructed in 1967, 56 years ago. And here's a ground view of one of those bridges to be replaced. The next project is a roundabout that is located at the intersection of Brown Bridge Road and Magnet Road. This project will consist of replacing the stop control intersection with a single lane roundabout. This project will improve safety and provide continuous flow at that intersection. This next project is also a roundabout at the intersection of State Route 87 and Bass Road. This project will consist of replacing the mini roundabout currently there with a full-size single lane roundabout. This project will also improve safety and allow for a better continuous flow at that particular intersection. This next project will replace the structurally deficient bridge on Valentine Industrial Parkway over Interstate 85. The existing bridge was constructed in 1964, 59 years ago. And here's a ground view of that bridge to be replaced. Next is the intersection of State Route 26 and Bethlehem Church Road. This project will consist of replacing a stop-controlled intersection with a single-lane roundabout. This project will also improve safety and provide continuous flow at that intersection. This next highlighted project will construct a new location 4-lane bypass from Green Oak Road to McDilda Road in Toombs County for a length of 5 miles. This project is part of the Governor's Road Improvement Program, also known as GRIP, and it is funded with state funds and TIA funds. The final highlighted project will replace the structurally deficient bridge at Garrett's Ferry Road over the Chattahoochee River tributary. The existing bridge was constructed in 1964, 59 years ago. Here's a ground view of that bridge to be replaced. And that bridge is currently closed, so that'll be a good one to get open. I don't know, sir. And it's on the local road system, so. So we have 33 projects proposed for the June 2023 letting, with 28 GDOT let and 5 local let projects. This chart shows the distribution by improvement types. The estimate of the projects in the June 2023 letting is approximately $169.7 million. This chart shows the dollar amount distribution by improvement type. Now I ask for your consideration for approval of the proposed projects presented for the June 2023 letting.
Can I ask a question first?
Yes.
Thank you. I want to go back. You mentioned a new roundabout to be built in Bibb County. And the way you described it, it was taking it from a mini roundabout to a larger roundabout. Can you explain to me the difference between a mini roundabout and a normal roundabout?
So a mini roundabout is essentially a traffic circle, right? We went in there and because we had such large crashes years and years ago and poured just an island in the middle, not really changing the geometry of the approaches at each leg. When you put in a large completely designed roundabout, you change the geometry at each leg, slow the traffic down even further, and give spacing between each of the entrance and exit points so that the movement goes better. That makes sense. So it was a stopgap sort of fix until we got the larger roundabout component to be able to get in there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay,
I move we approve the June letting.
okay, there's a motion. There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Motion is approved.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Shepherd. Next, we have our Commissioner, Mr. Brad Saxon.
Good morning. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Presenting the Commissioner's report today. Have you been notified the Commissioner is in Seattle at the AASHTO Spring Conference as well as the Chief Engineer. So I'll be filling in his stead today,
Okay.
as always. Let's see here. We'll start with state fund collections. For the month of April, total funds collected was $212.443 million, with excise being $192.398 million and $20.045 million in fees. The fiscal year-to-date numbers, total funds collected $653.274 million, excise being $464.372 million, and the fees being $188.902 million. Moving on to the employment figures for the month ending in April. Regular full-time staff for the department is 3,806. That's a net loss of 5 over the last month, so kind of holding water over the last month. The procurement numbers, monthly activity for professional services in April. 102 total contracts valued at $50.3 million were awarded in engineering, design, and right-of-way or geotechnical related fields. The fiscal year-to-date numbers is 1,349 total contracts awarded valued at $640 million. Next, I'd like to highlight some of the projects open to traffic during the month of April. Beginning in Congressional District 3, GDOT District 6 in Haralson County. This project consists of resurfacing State Route 100 from the Carroll County line to south of State Route 120. The contractor was E.R. Snell Contractor, Inc., open to traffic on April 21st. The total GDOT investment in the project was $3.8 million, and I'd also like to add that this project was opened ahead of schedule. Next project, moving to Congressional District 6, GDOT District 1 in Forsyth County. This project consisted of resurfacing State Route 141 from McGinnis Ferry Road to State Route 9. The contractor was C.W. Matthews Contracting Company. It opened to traffic on April 24th. The total GDOT investment in this project is $8 million. See, there you go. Next, moving to Congressional District 14, GDOT District 6, Paulding and Polk counties. The project consists of pedestrian upgrades at 10 locations within Paulding and Polk counties. The pedestrian-related upgrades include crosswalks, pedestrian signage, pedestrian signal heads and push buttons, ADA-compliant ramps, and refuge islands. The contractor was Reedwick LLC. It opened to traffic April 4th. The total GDOT investment for this project being $2.2 million. Again, this project was opened ahead of schedule. And the next project I'd like to highlight is the airport project at the Cartersville Airport, Congressional District 11, GDOT District 6, obviously Bartow County. The project consisted of the installation of an engineered materials arresting system, or EMAS, which is designed to safely stop airplanes that overshoot the runway. EMAS systems are specifically designed for each airport based on its critical aircraft and can stop an aircraft from overrunning the runway at a speed of up to approximately 80 miles an hour. The contractors included C.W. Matthews Company, Quarry Engineering, Runway Safe, and the total investment in this project was $9 million, with 8.3 of that being federal, and the other two matches split between us and the locals, $350,000 apiece. Now I'd like to call on Josh Waller real quick to come up and give you a quick legislative update on an item.
Thank you, Deputy Commissioner, members of the board, Mr. Chairman. Last month, the Legislative Committee, we walked through the key bills that had passed through the General Assembly and were in the governor's purview for signature or veto. And last week was the deadline, statutory constitutional deadline for signing bills. And so really quickly, just to highlight what was signed and then a couple of vetoes. First, the truck weights bill that increases truck weights from 84 to 88,000 for a 2-year period, expires in 2025. That was signed into law, and it's outside the metro area. It doesn't apply in the metro area. The electric vehicle charging bill that allows for the resale of electricity by kilowatt hours for charging vehicles was signed into law. There, on the budget front, our budget was enacted almost fully intact. There was one slight line item veto related to our budget. I think a few of you may have received phone calls about the press, because when you look at the governor's veto message on the first page, it might make it look like it's a veto of the whole routine maintenance program. But then when you go to the back of it where it explains the line item veto, it only pertains to about $250,000 that was added. It was outside of what GDOT had asked for in our budget submission. $250 for some local inspection of culverts. The governor's veto message said that he only was vetoing that $250,000 and specified it was because those type of activities are eligible under LMIG today already. Wasn't asked for by the department, as well as the department has a contract for that activity under the routine maintenance program to begin with. The next piece was our housekeeping bill, House Bill 52, which had a couple of cleanup items, but the core thing about it dealt with some updates to the construction manager, general contractor, CMGC procurement. and one was allowing for this board to institute a waiver specifically tied to a project the cable maintenance project for the Talmadge Bridge. Well, in a vindication to every ninth grade English teacher in the state who said punctuation matters, well, it does, because the misplacement of a comma and a colon and an if can get your bill vetoed, kids. And that is what, at the end of the day, as the governor's office was reviewing it, the placement of the if actually could have the unintended consequences of limiting this board's ability to waive that. So all parties were in agreement the best thing to do was for the bill to be vetoed, come back very early next session, get it passed through, shouldn't have any impact on the project. So those were it in a nutshell.
Josh, who asked for that, maintenance project,
The
the $250,000?
I'm not aware, because it got added, I believe in the Senate, it was a $500,000 ad, and then in the conference committee, it went from $500,000 to $250,000, but
We don't know who asked for it, but.
I am not aware.
It was attributed to Georgia DOT though.
It was put in our budget, but we did not make a request in our budget, and we didn't make any supplemental requests, as far as I'm aware. It was,
I mean, I get that, but it was still put in, so people can randomly add stuff to your budget and we not be aware of it?
obviously, so in the legislative, as part of the legislative process, when they do line items, that's part of the prerogative of the House and Senate. Sometimes we're aware of it, and sometimes it's just going to be an addition. So it's typically when we have additions on the intermodal side, they'll work with us on the list, but some things we don't. And in this case, as far as I'm aware, Treasurer's aware, Commissioner's aware, we weren't consulted on the addition of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Josh. Now, moving on to talking about the great things going on here at GDOT with the updates, honors, achievements, and recognitions. I'd like to start with, at the AASHTO Committee on Right-of-Way, Utilities, and Outdoor Advertising Controls 2023 annual meeting last month, GDOT's Office of Utilities won an Axis Innovation Award. Working in partnership with Survey and Mapping LLC, the Office of Utilities won for developing a preliminary utility relocation process that manages and mitigates risk in utility planning. This new process will save stakeholders time, money, and reduce critical path risks. On screen is an image from the award presentation. From left to right, Nancy Dalbenberger, the Minnesota DOT Commissioner, who's the chair of that AASHTO committee. Drew Gilmore from Ohio DOT, he's their right-of-way administrator and the vice chair of the AASHTO committee. In the blue there, Nick Fields, State Utilities Administrator, and then Kevin Cowan and Shajan Joseph are the Assistant State Utilities Administrators, and then on the right, Kerry Gore from Survey and Mapping LLC. So congratulations to the Office of Utilities for winning the Axis Innovation Award and for once again positioning GDOT as a leader in transportation. I don't know if he's here. Matt Needham, are you here? Maybe not. Didn't know if he was going to be here or not, but want to recognize Matt Needham and congratulate him for earning the Certified Emergency Manager designation from the International Association of Emergency Managers, or IAEM. Matt is our Assistant Emergency Operations Coordinator. You may be familiar with Emily Fish, who is the Emergency Operations Coordinator, so Matt works closely with Emily, obviously. This is an incredibly difficult credential to receive. It requires a minimum of 5 years experience, 6 professional contributions to the field, which means actual real-life experience for emergencies, and over 500 hours of training. Only a handful of people working in the state of Georgia have this designation, and Matt is now the second GDOT person to gain this designation. Congratulations to Matt, who will be recognized at the IAEM USA 71st Annual Conference in Long Beach, California in November. So congratulations for Matt for that great certification and hard work to gain it. Recently, Engineer Georgia magazine recognized the 100 most influential women in engineering in the state of Georgia. And I am proud to announce for the sixth consecutive year, 4 women serving on the State Transportation Board were recognized, so congratulations to Ms. Purcell, Ms. Key, Ms. Dunn, and Ms. Lemon for being recognized for the 6th consecutive year. Additionally, several members of the GDOT team were recognized, including Meg Perkle, Angela Whitworth, Janine Miller, Haral Patel, Kathy Zahal, Kimberly Nesbitt. Additionally, as you can see, well, I don't see the same picture I had before, but there was a nice picture of the cover, Janine. You're on the other side, aren't you? Anyway, maybe it was on the first slide. But congratulations, Janine. She was profiled in the issue of the magazine. So congratulations, Janine, for a very special and well-deserved call out. And congratulations to all of these accomplished women. I would note that 26% of our workforce here at GDOT are female. And I wish, and I know the commissioner agreed, that Engineering Georgia had the space to recognize the contributions of all the women of this department who play such an important role in making transportation in Georgia successful. There are many contributions, and they're all very significant. So thank you to all the ladies been recognized and all the rest here that do such great work for all of us. Continuing with the theme of women in transportation, last week was the 2023 WTS International Annual Conference, which was held here in Atlanta. The annual conference featured transportation leaders from around the country participating and presenting in various sessions. One of our own on the board, Congressional District 5 Representative Ms. Stacy Key, was part of a panel discussion focused on the importance of supplier diversity and how to achieve a successful program. Additional Congressional District 13 Representative Ms. Lemon was in attendance. A number of GDOT employees are WTS members and also participated or attended the conference. By all accounts, the event was a huge success with more than 1,100 attendees. So thank you to those board members and to the GDOT employees who attended or presented, and thank you for always putting GDOT in the best light with professional organizations like WTS. So great work. Recently, downtown Atlanta experienced a significant influx of people in the last week of April due to several events in the area. Over the course of 4 consecutive nights, there was an Atlanta Hawks playoff game on Thursday the 27th, a Janet Jackson Ludacris concert that Friday, and 3 Taylor Swift concerts on the same Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Due to the Hawks playoff game on April 27th, the Janet Jackson Ludacris sold-out concert at State Farm Arena was moved to Friday, the same night as the already scheduled Taylor Swift sold-out concert at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. May have heard something about that, right? Due to those 2 activities, there was an estimated crowd of more than 100,000 folks just within that small area of those 2 concerts on Friday night, more than any event in the area since the beginning of COVID. And over the course of those 4 days, more than 250,000 people attended all these events. Aware that the area was about to experience a significant influx of people and traffic, GDOT's Traffic Signal Operations Program worked in coordination with the Georgia World Congress Center, Mercedes-Benz Stadium, State Farm Arena, the City of Atlanta, and law enforcement to manage the heavy traffic in and around the downtown area. 2 GDOT traffic engineers worked directly with Georgia World Congress Center officers for up to 10 hours each evening in order to manage ingress and egress of these events. Additionally, engineers monitored vehicle and pedestrian traffic for all surrounding roadways using cameras and high-resolution traffic signal data to implement immediate changes to mitigate traffic. For example, Friday night's events had relatively high pedestrian traffic, while Sunday's events had higher vehicular traffic. So it was a fluid situation with hundreds of timing patterns, action sets, flush plans, and minor timing adjustments, all implemented remotely to keep people and traffic moving. The Office of Strategic Communications supported the SIGOP team's event management efforts with a communications campaign targeted at Atlanta media to inform the public to plan ahead, expect delays, encourage people to allow for extra time for their commutes, and take MARTA. Ultimately, ingress traffic managed to allow for predictable trip planning, and egress from the events happened within 90 minutes, which is considered successful for even an average size event at these venues. It's a testament to the SIGOPS program and its staff that the public was able to move as safely and efficiently as possible given the circumstances. Sincere thanks to all the dedicated GDOT employees who work tirelessly to help move the public efficiently during these popular events. Continuing our focus on events taking place here in Atlanta. Recently, GDOT hosted the Southeast Bridge Preservation Partnership meeting here in Atlanta. Part of AASHTO, the Southeast Bridge Preservation Partnership, is a regional forum comprised of bridge practitioners from state, local, and federal government agencies, contractors, consultants, suppliers, and academia, where bridge preservation practices throughout the Southeast region are shared. GDOT was represented by Don Digamon, State Bridge Engineer, and Robbie Coralla as the host state organizers. Andy Dole, our State Maintenance Engineer, also led the AASHTO MAC Bridge Technical Working Group. GDOT's Deputy Chief Engineer, Andrew Heath, shown there in the picture, was also in attendance and provided the welcome address to kick off the event. I'd like to show a quick video highlighting the event.
The Southeast Bridge Preservation Partnership Conference is a part of a national group. We have 4 different regions: Southeast, Northeast, Southwest, Northwest. And the Southeast consists of 13 states altogether. And the mission of the Southeast Bridge Preservation is to ensure that our transportation system, the public who are using the Southeast transportation system, is well maintained.
In this conference is a lot of networking, a lot of lessons learned, sharing of ideas. Great for DOTs to hear that from the private industry, and also sharing ideas between DOTs so that we don't have to reinvent the wheel. If another state's already doing it, borrow and learn from their lessons learned, and we can hope to borrow that and improve on that when we're doing work in our state. So the audience for the conference is really state DOTs, consultant engineers, federal highway, as long as for private vendors as well that helps with DOTs with materials that we use for these preservation, rehab, and repair projects.
If a vendor has a product they want to demonstrate or they want to test with Georgia DOT, then they got to go to the new committee meetings, or they can even send us an email where they can set up a PowerPoint presentation with our office.
What I've heard is this is the largest conference attendance for this conference, so kudos to Ravindra Koirala for actually taking on this challenge of hosting a conference.
We actually exceeded the expectation as far as our Southeast Bridge Preservation Conference goes. We had roughly about 270 registered folks who attended this conference, and 79 vendors. They actually, paid for the booth and everything, so it far exceeded our expectations.
Obviously, it's an honor to host such events, and Robbie and Don did a great job, obviously, as you can see. But these events provide us an opportunity to share ideas, as they said, with other professionals, and the ultimate goal of finding better ways to serve the people of Georgia. So thanks to all of those who attended and participated. Moving on to last week was Georgia State Employees Recognition Week. Each year, typically during the first part of May, agencies across the state take time to acknowledge the work of our dedicated public servants throughout the state, and GDOT is no exception. This year, we had a good mix of virtual and in-person events where we recognized our employees and shined a spotlight on their outstanding work over the year. Every month in these meetings, the commissioner stands before you and highlights the many accomplishments of our employees. Their hard work and dedication are critical to the success of the department, and I'd like to personally thank each employee for their commitment and the sacrifices they make every day in service to the people of Georgia. We truly have a dedicated staff of professionals that take their duties very seriously and perform well for the citizens of Georgia every day, and I couldn't be prouder to be a part of this organization and work with these folks. So, Mr. Chairman, thank you, and that concludes my report.
Okay. Any questions? Thank you very much. Okay. Now for the board and committee reports. The first one, Jeff Lewis.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Statewide Transportation Planning Strategic Planning Committee convened on May 17, 2023 at 1:30 p.m. Board members present included Golden, Lewis, Purcell, Thompson, McIntyre, Brown, Williams, Key, Bowen, Boswell, Lemon, Gravely. First order of business, GDOT's Office of Planning Assistance Office Head for Capital Regional Planning and System Planning provided an overview and update on the I-85 Planning and Environmental Linkage PAIL study. The study covers an 18-mile corridor along I-85 from I-285 to I-985. It incorporates the idea of PAIL, which endeavors to save time and money on the front end by utilizing aspects of the National Environmental Policy Act, NEPA, on the front end. The study is currently in its final stages of screening and analysis and will provide recommendations in early 2024. There being no action, Chairman Golden adjourned the meeting at 1:51 p.m. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Lewis. Commissioner, Mr. Key.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Intermodal Committee convened on May 17, 2023 at 2 p.m. Board members present, Lemon, Thompson, Williams, Purcell, McIntyre, Brown, Bowen, Golden, Boswell, Lewis, and Gravely. First order of business, Joanna Campbell, Assistant Director of Intermodal, gave an update on the GDOT Rail program. Ms. Campbell gave an overview of the Georgia Rail Network, which is the 7th largest in the nation, and introduced each of GDOT's 6 short-line railroads and recent investments in the lines. She gave an update on the Railroad Lease Modernization Project, which will create economic development opportunities in rural communities where they operate, and the Atlanta to Savannah passenger rail study of potential high-speed passenger rail from Atlanta to Savannah. There was no action taken. I adjourned the meeting at 2:17 p.m.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Key. Program delivery, Mr. Boswell.
Thank you. Program Delivery Committee convened on May 17, 2023 at 2:30 p.m. Board members present included myself, Dennis McIntyre, Ann Purcell, Kathy Williams, Tim Golden, Robert Brown, Stacy Key, Rudy Bowen, Kurt Thompson, Jeff Lewis, Dana Lemon, and Michael Gravely. First order of business. The Office of Construction Program Manager, Andrew Herring, presented an update on the 3 State Route 316 Design Build Bundle projects, 2 in Barrow County, 1 in Oconee County. Mr. Haney requested committee approval of the GDOT and CERTA joint resolution for the State 316 Design Build Bundle projects, which outlines the relationship between agencies on these important design build projects. I call for a motion to approve the GDOT CERTA joint resolution made by Dennis McIntyre, seconded by Ann Purcell, and it received unanimous approval. There being no further action, I adjourn the meeting at 2:47 p.m.
Okay, thank you.
Do we have to have that?
You mean,
we have to
the
do
motion,
that now?
motion in the board meeting?
Yeah.
Yes, I have motion.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to
Second.
approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, nay? Thank you. Motion passed. Motion passed. Next, is Purcell, still on the committee of the whole.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Committee of the Whole convened yesterday at 3 p.m. Our board members present included Brown, Purcell, Williams, McIntyre, Key, Bowen, Thompson, Golden, Boswell, Lewis, Lemon, and Gravely. We also had our first order of business in regards to the Operations Division Director, John Hibbard, gave us a presentation that summarized the temporary modification to the HERO program that will be implemented by July the 1st. The modifications that will be implemented will result in a greater HERO presence at the time when the greatest number of incidents occur. In the modified plan, HEROs will still operate 7 days a week from 5 a.m. to 11 p.m. Monday through Friday, and then 6 a.m. to 11:30 p.m. on Saturday and Sunday. The service area will also be modified and will include 247 miles of interstate, which represents 65% of the existing service area. For those areas no longer in the HERO service area, the CHAMPS program, which provides services to all interstates outside the HERO service area, will assume that coverage. CHAMP runs 7 days a week from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. Mr. Hibbard reminded everyone to call 511 to report any incidents that are observed, as 511 is a 24/7, 365 program. Mr. Hibbard reported that the most recent Indeed.com hiring event resulted in 16 new HERO trainees accepting offers. 9 of them have already started. And he concluded that while we hope to be able to return to normal HERO operations next year, the principal goal will be increase and sustain staffing levels. Our second order of business was GDOT's State Talent Development Manager, Kyle Moat, provided an overview of the Management Development Program. The leadership training is a 2-week program and includes the teaching of leadership topics such as listening, change management, leadership style assessments, etc. Following the presentation, John Greenwood updated the committee on his group's project of electronic signature authorization for right-of-way documents. And Andrew Pearson informed the committee about his group's project of preventing overhead sign vandalism. Our committee action was none, and our committee was adjourned at 3:44 p.m. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome. Any further business?
Mr. Chairman, this is Greg Morris.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I just wanted to note that I was present yesterday for those committee meetings by phone.
Okay, all right, thank you. Thank you for that. No, okay. Any further business? For further business, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you. I guess you finished early today.